Yeah, welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Reviews and reactions. Let's go. It's the Brown Boy Wonder. Hold it down, representing for the culture. Every episode brings you closer into the mind and the heart of a hustler, where the truth and the groove collide. Stay tuned in, come enjoy the ride. Keep it authentic like that, never hold back. It's the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. The Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned in. The vibe's always on.
Brown Boy Wonder Podcast.
Welcome to the holiday edition of the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. In this second installment of our holiday rewatch, my guest and I are rewatching the 1992's motion picture Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. My first guest, he usually says this to me: "You've been smooching with everybody." It's Skyler. Skyler, how are you doing today?
You have been smooching, I know it. I'm doing okay. It's
Christmas time. We're here. It's 2024 Christmas time, holiday season. My next guest, he usually says, "Suck brick, kid." It's Anthony. Anthony, how are you doing today?
I normally say that, but today I'm saying, "You're cooking, Frankie." Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, guys, I do have a question for you guys. Of course, it is the holiday season, but do we consider Kevin McAllister the best kid character in cinema history?
Oh my god, the best kid in cinema history?
Best kid.
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot
That's
of
a
kids.
big ask.
There's a lot of kids in movies, man.
I know.
There's all the Goonies. There's that kid from Real Steel.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was
Boo
good.
from Monsters Inc. Like, there's all sorts of
Yeah.
kids.
There's a lot of kids, man.
A lot of kids in cinema, but is Mr. Kevin McAllister the best kid?
You know what? For the sake of this one, because there's some things I highly agree with him on in this film, I'm going to say yes. Because there's tons of times where you're like, that's a little snot-nosed kid. But you know what? I'm on Kevin's side. So yeah, he's the greatest kid ever made. Well, that's true.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to say no, and here's why.
Ooh, why?
Yeah, Kevin's a brat sometimes,
Mm.
but and yes, he is young. He's technically a child, but he's just a little adult. He's doing all these. He's a smart. He's just acting like an adult. So I don't think he counts as a kid.
Oh, okay. It's a technicality.
Yeah,
Alright.
disqualified.
Damn. All right. Well, he is, according to you, not the best kid, but for all of us, he is the best kid in movie history. But let's get into the cast here. Last year,
and instead, I think we're gonna give best kid in cinema history to the little boy that shows up for 1 second in the Benchwarmers, where he's like, "Puppy, puppy."
Skyler, I was going to try to work in a Benchwarmers joke because, his birth certificate says I am 12, and I was going to say that's the best kid. So it's amazing that your logic went to that the character's kid in the movie.
Yeah,
Well,
not only the same movie, but the same scene.
That's a little unfortunate. All right, let's get into this cast.
Because he says "Silencio, mijo," and the kid goes, "Ah!"
Well, let's get into the cast here. I butchered his name last year, but it took me a whole year to practice his name. A whole year. Here we go.
Mhm.
We got Macaulay Culkin as Kevin.
Oh, McClunky Culkin.
McClunky. He's very McClunky in here. He is playing as Kevin, of course. We got Joe Pesci as Harry. We got Daniel Stern as Marv, of course. We got a new cast member, Tim Curry, as Mr. Hector. I did not know that was his name, Mr. Hector.
Mm.
His name is Tim Curry.
Yeah, it is. Of course, we got Catherine O'Hara as Kate. Of course, we got John Hurd as Peter, and I think the rest we don't really care. Oh, except for our brother, of course, Devin Rattray as Buzz. And who else here? Oh, we got the pigeon lady. We got Brenda Frinker as the pigeon lady, and I think that's it. Oh, I like this guy, Ralph Foodie as Johnny. All right.
Did you skip? Now I know we don't like him in real life, but did you skip Rob Schneider? I didn't hear you say him.
Oh, where was he? Yeah, there. Yeah, he's there. Rob Schneider as Cedric. But he was good in this movie. Not now.
He's another Benchwarmers guy. No, screw him. Not a great guy at all. But
no, we could treat Rob Schneider as a CEO right now. I'd be fine with that.
Oh. Well,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Let's move on here. Of course, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, in 1992. What do you guys think the budget for this one is?
Oh, good golly! I wish I could remember what this question was last year, because it's got to be way more than that. Can you? Do we ever ask for like a ballpark in this? Like, do we ever have like a clue?
Yeah, I'm such a broken record when it comes to these questions, because like every episode you ask me that, I'm always like, well, what was it last time? And again, I don't remember what it was a year ago. I don't remember how much Home Alone cost. But this one, they're all these like shooting locations. You got to get permits to shoot in New York City,
biggest city of them all. I'll give you a hint. It's less than 50 million.
Okay, 37 million.
Okay, you got 37. Skyler, who about you?
I'll say 30 million.
Ooh, ding ding. Skyler is correct. It was not 30, but it was 28 million.
I was correct. I mean, I wasn't, but I was.
Ding ding, he says. Wrong.
But it was 28 million. But what about the box office? What did Home Alone 2 Lost New York made?
$287 million.
287. How about you, Skyler?
$300 million.
I had to say ding ding again to Skyler, but it was wrong. It's 359 million.
I'm getting all kinds of special treatment.
But yeah, it is close to like 500 million, at least for like a 90s movie. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, I would say so.
For a Christmas movie.
For a sequel. But yes, Home Alone 2, where's your all's initial thoughts before we get into it?
Home Alone 2 is not as good as Home Alone 1, but it's filled with comedy and laughs, and it still has a ton of heart and great performances and great music. So even though it is a more flanderized version of the first film, it is still an enjoyable holiday movie.
Everyone says, and rightly so, this movie is like the typical sequel where we just do what it came out like a year later, and we just did the same thing again. And that's true. They repeat basically all the major jokes from the last one, just with like there's a few subversions, obviously. You gotta do that. But there's some added stuff. I think Tim Curry and the rest of the hotel staff add a lot to this movie. I think the Toy Story plot. I almost said Toy Story. That's not it. The Toy Store adds something to Kevin's character that wasn't quite there in the first one, and I think what completely, because I love this movie. I think what makes this movie coast is Christmas in New York. I think that is such a powerful holiday vibe that just it makes this movie survive just being a sequel that repeats everything.
Yeah, Yeah, I would echo that. It's something about just watching movies as a kid about New York in the wintertime where like, the steam is coming up from the grates and everything and everyone's wearing like nice coats and Abrar's nodding because obviously he knows what's up. Yeah, and this is another one of those like it cements that as like this is a Christmas location. There's a part in the movie where, Kevin McAllister is very worried about going to Florida and not seeing Christmas trees. And like he's right. You need a Christmas tree. And where are you going to find a big Christmas tree? New York. It just makes sense. It just makes sense.
I mean, I am from New York. I'm like, dude, when I saw this movie, like, this is what Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas, but this is what Christmas is all about. Is this movie right here?
You don't sell. I think that's a misnomer there because you do kind of celebrate Christmas, not like with your family. You don't do like that part, but every year you're watching these Christmas movies and you're enjoying the vibe, right? You celebrate the holiday season just in general.
I love the holiday Christmas spirit. That's what I love.
Yeah. Right.
I think
we should have a Christmas.
That kind of transcends just religious background, I think.
Yeah. This feeling is what it's all about. One year I'll have a friend Christmas, not the Friendsgiving. That's silly. We'll have a big old Christmas get together for those whose families are not available. So Abrar can have that true Christmas experience.
Yeah, invite me in. I'll be in your house.
Okay.
All right, he made it weird.
All right. Moving on.
All right. Well, yes. Let's get into the movie. The McAllister family is preparing to spend Christmas in Miami, and gathers at Kate and Peter's Chicago's home. Their youngest son, Kevin, views Florida not for Christmas. Due to its tropical climate and lack of Christmas trees, we see Kevin playing with his tape recorder while watching a game show. Do you know what game show that was? I think that was Wheel of Fortune, or I'm not sure what it was.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, he recorded the Plaza Hotel commercial. His dad, Peter, unplugs the outlet to get his camcorder battery, but their alarm clock also resets. Kevin has to get his tie from the bathroom, but his Uncle Frank is taking a shower. He is singing Cool Jerk by the Capitals as Kevin watches and tapes records his uncle singing in the shower. He gets caught. Uncle Frank says, "Go away, you nosy little pervert. I'll slap you silly. That will come in handy."
Oh, yes, it will.
The game show was called Ding Dang Dong, by the way. They say it on the TV. Guests of the new celebrity Ding Dang Dong stay at the Plaza Hotel. That's where he gets the info from.
Gotcha. Well, they should bring that game show back.
Make it real.
Yeah. At a school Christmas pageant, during Kevin's solo, his older brother Buzz embarrasses him. Kevin pushes him back, which causes the entire choir to fall and ruins the whole pageant. Look, I would have done the same. If I was Kevin, I will smack my brother in the head.
It's ridiculous. I agree with Abrar. This is nonsense. He ruins his entire big moment, and the whole place is laughing. And yet he's in trouble because Buzz takes too much of a bump and sells it too hard and goes crazy. And yes, that woman may be dead after that like fake tree hits her, and she goes from the piano on the top of a stage to the ground.
Oh my goodness!
Her lives might be of loss, but like, come on, Buzz ruined that whole moment. Kevin's not in the wrong.
Buzz in this movie is Hulk Hogan, all right? He got away with what he was doing because he was doing it. He was like drumming on Kevin's head, and you can see the parents are like, "Oh no, it's ruined already," and it's Buzz's fault. We all know this, but he backstage politics. The evolution of Buzz from the first movie, where he's just a total butthead, being a little annoying ass kid. Within like the year, he learned how to pull people's strings. He knows I can get away with things if I act like a lawyer and start walking around in the room, controlling the narrative.
Oh, control your narrative. But yes, as you mentioned, Buzz makes a fake apology to Kevin, which the family accepts. Kevin, however, refuses to apologize for his actions and berates his family for believing in Buzz's lies. For wanting to spend Christmas in Florida, he storms off in the attic and he wishes to have his own vacation alone. He called his uncle cheap.
Well, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next morning, the family overslept, and rushes to the airport. Kevin goes with them, luckily, but he becomes separated while carrying Peter's bag and accidentally boards a flight to New York City. Yeah,
That's a very simple way of putting it, but
yes.
There's
I do
a
want, yeah,
there's a really good. I talked about subversion of expectation earlier. There's a really good bit when they're all getting in the cars.
mhm.
That moment of like, wait a minute, where's Kevin? He's just there. He's in the front seat. He's like, you're not leaving me this time.
7-7-14. Yeah, you're right. It's a wonderful sort of build up because you're wondering like, well, how are they got to screw this up? You know, like they've gotten this far. Also, just because the people who own the house didn't wake everybody up, maybe it's on you to like set your own alarm clock. Okay, you know, just because it wasn't like a whole power outage. We established it was because he pulled out the plug and to plug in his battery pack or whatever. So like, yeah, all right, maybe wake up. How about that? Maybe wake up in the morning. But yeah, the whole run into the airport is great. Not seeing the right dad because, like, you know, everyone's followed a parent in a store or a busy place.
Yeah.
It could be easy if they're wearing the same coat.
I mean,
That's the worst.
I do want to say, like, I don't think any airline would board a kid without checking with their parents. I know the flight lady said, "All right, is that your dad?" Yeah, that's my dad. She didn't really check on his dad.
Abrar, this was pre 9/11. This was you could just walk on an airplane and no one cared back then.
I guess so. And also, what happened to that neighbor kid? Remember in the last movie?
Oh, he died.
No.
The question, kid? Yeah. Question too hard.
Oh no. Well, my favorite part is where Kevin asks the guy sitting next to him, "Have you been to Florida?" The guy starts to speak him in French, and Kevin was like, "What the hell?" He just puts on his headphones and sleeps. I would say this guy is still talking to him to this day.
That guy surely he understands. He's like, this kid asked me a language asked me a question in a language not mine. I need to. You can't just be like, well, I hope he gets it. Or maybe that's his like tact. He's like, I don't want this kid to talk to me the whole flight.
Yeah, he'll talk first. But yeah, good scene there. Kate has that feeling that she's missing something, but Peter is like, "We got everything. Don't worry about it." Upon arrival, Kevin was waiting for his family, and he was like, "This is getting a little sus." We are at the family. The family is giving Kevin's bag to Kevin, only to find out that he's not there. And Kate was like, "Kevin!" She did the same Kevin from the last movie.
I love this. I love this bit. This reveal. This hand this to Kevin. Hand this to Kevin. Hand this to Kevin. Here you go, Kevin. And a little Kieran Culkin's like,
Yeah.
He almost wet the bed right there.
Oh yes. Good scene there. Kevin realizes that he's in New York and he decides to tour the city. And of course,
I want to get this out of the way because in the first movie, they go to great lengths to show us that everything had to go wrong for them to leave Kevin behind. It was all like serendipity. Just the way that the power went out, so they were all frazzled and late. No one was doing a good job at checking, making sure all the numbers were right, getting into the cars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Buzz was messing with people. And then the kid was there to take his spot, kind of, and then he left. This one, we like Anthony said, we get to this far, we get to the airport. They're just bad parents now. It's their fault. Like, how do you that happen twice?
Well, we address that in the police station later. You know, the
Yes.
absurdity of this happening twice.
Yeah, they're not
Okay.
good parents.
Say, now leaving your small child at home alone while you fly to a different country like they did last time,
Mhm.
that's not good. That is bad. I would say sending him to the biggest city in America by himself on accident is worse.
I agree. Oh, well, Kevin decides to tour Run City, and of course, as we mentioned, there's nothing special in New York in the 90s during Christmas time. We see Kevin on top of the roof of the two towers. Probably won't see that ever again.
Probably not. Not if I had
Yeah.
to guess.
Not at all. But yeah, great scene, great shots. Not knowing that his old rivals, the Wet Bandits, Harry and Marv, have also reached to the city after escaping from prison. Marv now makes a habit of stealing stuff from the donation buckets with his tape-covered glove, insisting he and Harry rename themselves as Sticky Bandits. Do you guys like the name Wet Bandits or Sticky Bandits?
I mean, Stickier's funnier in this movie for obvious reasons.
They're both gross.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
They're both gross names. I don't like it either. But I think it's a good bit that he's trying to reinvent himself.
Yeah, he should be a wrestler. He knows how to change gimmicks.
Daniel Stern.
Yeah, Daniel Stern. I'm sure he watches wrestling.
He got slapped by that lady. He did sell it.
There you go. Kevin encounters I was about to say a headless woman, but a homeless woman tending to her pigeons in Central Park who scares him off.
Is this what it was like when you lived in New York? You saw a homeless woman and you screamed and ran?
I have to ask my mom. Maybe I did.
It probably happened. I mean, it's safe to say that most Home Alone events, Abrar was involved in some shape or form. You know, it's easy to picture.
You just gotta ask my parents. In one scene, Harry feels like he bumped into someone he knows while crossing the street, the street, but Marv got stuck, as you mentioned, Skyler, with a blonde woman's purse. The woman slapped him while Marv was speaking French. That woman will come later. As Kevin enters the Plaza Hotel, he was given directions on where the lobby is. A convicted felon and president said down the hall to the left.
Yep, there he was.
There he is. Kevin listens to the Plaza Hotel commercial that he recorded. He reserved his room at the hotel by calling the number with the recorder. He distorted the recording to sound like an adult. Credit card?
Well,
you got it.
Kinda. Would you have accepted this person's information? if
I would.
Yeah, why not?
Howdy do.
The father.
The
father.
I don't know.
That sounds like a trusting voice.
It's pretty good to me. I'm surprised Kevin knows how to do that.
Play things in slow motion?
Yeah. Oh, he did. He did play with this, so yeah, I guess he would know.
Yeah. So did either of you guys ever have this Talk Boy toy?
I don't think so.
My uncle had it, and so it was at my grandpa's house.
Mm-hmm.
And any chance I got to play around that thing, I would. I mean, it's just a recorder. Like that's it's just got a mic and everything. So, but yeah, just having that big chunky toy from Home Alone 2, man, you feel like Kevin McAllister. It's that simple.
Gotcha. Well, Kevin checks in with the receptionist while the hotel manager looks on, which is Tim Curry. Back to Peter and Kate. They talk to the police. Peter realizes that Kevin has his wallet. The police will notify the credit card companies to see if Kevin used them. Kate is like, I don't know if he knows how to use a credit card. The next scene, we see the old way of using a credit card. I don't think I ever used it in this fashion. Have you guys?
No,
No, me
the always swipe the thing or
with a tap.
Now we got the chip and the tap. Oh,
I feel like that this will take longer. I don't know.
you know what? I'll complain. I'll complain about the tap because when we all switched to the chip, I was like, all right, that's fine.
Mhm.
Jam it in there, and then maybe sometimes it doesn't read it. That's annoying. But now with the tap, it's just like that. Every place you go, this is my boomer take. Every place you go,
Here we go.
they're like, oh yeah, go ahead and tap your card, and you look at it, and you're like, it's different on every machine. Where do I tap it? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's the screen. Sometimes there's like a designated tap area. Sometimes you have to
Okay.
hold it at the top, and then and they're not always. It's not always listed. It doesn't always say. So it's just like you're
That's
just like shaking your card around, and the guy's looking at you. It's like it's the top, idiot. And I'm like, well, come on.
Yeah. I can agree with that because I'm at a point where my chip just doesn't read anymore. It just doesn't work. So the
Yeah.
tap is my savior. But you're right. Like if I'm at a place where I don't normally go, yeah, unless it has like the logo, I'll place it on the logo. You know, the little tap logo. I'll
Yeah.
do that for safety. But you're absolutely right. There are times where it's the little register pads there, and then you're like tapping it. And then it's worse when they're like, oh, you have to press the green button to okay or something first. And you're like, oh, God, I look even dumber now. It wasn't even ready for the tap.
Didn't
Yeah.
put up a sign.
So, yeah. Now, back then, they used to do it or something. So,
Yeah.
different problems for different times. That's how it is.
Well, now I feel like an asshole sometimes because that moment where it's just like, okay, I know I can tap. It doesn't say where to tap. I'll just do the chip just to be safe. And then the chip doesn't work, and you've added an extra step of you looking like an asshole. Just like, oh, come on.
the worst thing is when you put in a chip and then it says authorizing, please remove card, and you're like, but it's still authorizing. And then it says approved, please remove card, and you're like, okay, I'll do that one because it's approved. But like,
Yeah.
why does it say it's like it's a little loading screen and it says please remove the card? I'm not going to remove it if it's loading.
That's true.
Turning into like a Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld podcast in the middle of Home Alone 2 review.
It didn't say approved yet. I'm not going to remove it if it's not approved.
There we go. Well, Cedric, the bag boy, helps Kevin to his room. This hotel room is just everything you imagine for. A huge bed, a huge bathroom, lots and lots of treats in the closet.
I keep wanting to describe everything in this movie as pre 9/11. Yeah, you won't see a whole cabinet full of cookies and candies and snacks post 9/11. No, sir.
it definitely fulfills that like sort of child fantasy where you watch a kid get up on, because obviously Macaulay Culkin was also Richie Rich, so kind of the similar vibe there, but also like the movie Blank Check. I remember watching that and being like, oh man, I want a big inflatable thing and a slide in my house and all this kind of stuff. So there's definitely that part in this movie where like I want to have a hotel room with ice cream and a pizza and I get to go to a toy store. Like it has that element versus the first film, which didn't have as much of that. Like we can always be in our house, but we can't just go on a free shopping spree like in this movie.
Absolutely.
And it's very purposeful where, you know, the family, even when they get to Florida, it's all rainy and shitty. And Kevin was right. He gets to have the real Christmas.
Who goes to... I get it. You want some warmth. You don't want to be in the cold anymore during Christmas time. But Christmas in Florida doesn't sound good to me at all.
Maybe they were going to go to Disney World.
Oh.
And you know what? If they were, then they should have said, Kevin, they'll have a big tree at Disney World.
True. I guess they didn't, because they went to Miami. They didn't go to Orlando.
True.
Oh, that's true. Well, then they're stupid then.
They could have gone to a pre-current Disney World. Like, oh my goodness. Don't have to worry about Genie Plus or nothing. Goodness. What a missed opportunity. Went to Miami.
I miss fast passes. This is my boomer episode. I'm just going to be like, we're better back then.
Cedric checks Kevin's bag, but gets caught. But played with he played with like, oh, do you want me to put the key in the bag? Cedric asks, do you know how the TV works? Kevin says, I'm 10 years old. TV's my life. Cedric said, well,
You, bro.
he pulls out his hand, signing that he wants a tip. Kevin gave him a piece of gum.
I
What do you
think
do in
Kevin
this
knew
situation?
exactly. I think Kevin knew exactly what he was doing.
You think so?
Because later, he offers him a tip, and Rob Schneider's like, "No, I've got the gum from last time." And then Kevin's like, "All right," with a big wad of cash. He knew what he was doing. He's just jerking this guy's chain.
Well, we learn later it's actually genetic, so we'll get into that.
Oh yes. We see Kevin enjoying his stay at the hotel. He did a cannonball at the pool, eating ice cream while watching Angels with Even Filthier Souls, the sequel. He has in his collection the Ventilator, Fly Bait, and Multiville Massacre. Are those real movies?
Real movies? Well, Angels with Filthier Souls isn't. So
Yeah.
I don't
know the other ones.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Well,
Not to my knowledge, so.
No. The butler, whoever that was, he asked for 2 scoops, and Kevin says 3. I'm not driving. That's a good line.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a good line. We see Tim Curry being very sus. He knocks on Kevin's room. He said, "Housekeeping." Kevin heads to the bathroom and turns on the shower. Tim Curry heads inside. He sees the room, a mess. Kevin plays the tape of Uncle Frank singing in the shower, and he has an inflatable clown dancing in the shower. He scared Tim Curry off. I would say, how did he got that inflatable clown?
What are you talking about? It was a gift.
We saw it earlier.
Did we?
Yeah, when he gets it when they're still at the house.
Yeah, his mom gave it to him. She's like, "Oh, so and so got you a gift. Do you want to guess what it is?" He's like, "Donald Duck slippers." And she says, "Close. Inflatable clown to play with in the pool."
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. Well, I guess I missed that part. We see the family having a terrible time in Florida. It's raining, and they got a motel. Not a hotel, but a motel. Why didn't the dad get the hotel?
They're cheap. This family bought one nice thing, and it's that bazillion-dollar house, and they refuse to ever pay for anything ever again.
Lee. Well, Kevin checks Peter's bag and sees that his uncle Rob lives in New York. He said he'll probably get there soon, and he also misses his family as he looks at the family picture. He and his mom both said good night to each other in different states. I thought that was a sweet moment in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the next morning, Kevin was gonna give Cedric a tip, but Cedric liked his gum tip better. Tim Curry talked to Kevin and wanted to say sorry to his dad, but Kevin says you probably won't see him in the entire trip. Tim Curry checks the credit card payment while Kevin gets his limo with his New York cheese pizza.
Let's talk about this cheese pizza.
Okay, I want to say, yeah, this is my dream. When I saw this movie, I was like, I wanted to live how Kevin's living. He's in his limo. He's eating his cheese pizza. He's watching some Christmas. I think it was The Grinch. That's the life I want as a kid.
That is the steamiest, piping hot cheese pizza.
Yeah.
This is contender for the best pizza in cinematic history.
Oh man!
Just
New
the
York
way
slice.
he opens the box and all that steam comes out. That's crazy.
Especially in the cold and it's hot.
Mm.
It gets me going. But Tim Curry gets while he was checking the payment process, Tim Curry gets a light bulb above his head because the machine says stolen. That's not good.
He's evil, like the Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amazing fade from the Grinch's smile to Tim Curry's smile.
To his
Perfect.
unedited smile, his actual just normal smile. He could just do that.
I'm glad he's depending on why he's a clown because he is a damn evil person. We see the Wet Bandits talking about stealing cash at the famous Duncan's toy store. Kevin visits the toy store while, here he is. Our
Kevin?
Oh,
is
hello.
this Kevin?
Sorry, it's me, Kevin.
Kevin. Well, for those who are listening, my last guess, you should know him as Tim
Sticky
Curry.
Bandit.
It's a Sticky Bandit. It's Daniel. Daniel, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty okay. Wish I wasn't as sticky as I am, but part of the gig.
Oh, I
That's
feel
why.
you.
That's why you're late because you were stuck.
I was literally stuck. Yeah.
There we go. Well, I'm glad you're here, man. But we are where Kevin visits the toy store, where the kindly owner, Mr. Duncan, plans to donate the day's sales proceeds to a children's hospital. After Kevin makes a donation, Mr. Duncan gives him a pair of turtle doves in thanks, instructing him to give one to another person as a gesture of eternal friendship. What's your thoughts on this beautiful scene, or in this massive toy store?
Is this guy a wizard or a crazy old man?
Probably both.
He's a crazy old man.
He's the toy wizard.
Mr. Duncan, in my older years, has always made me a little questionable. Because as we'll get into with Mr. Duncan, he's going to talk to Kevin and reveal all these things. And he loves talking about how great of a person the guy who runs the toy store is, and talks about how, he donates to charity and he's such a good person. And he's just talking himself up. That's his whole gimmick, is talking about how great he is.
That's so funny because he's saying he's like, but he likes to be left anonymous, but he's going around leaving pictures of himself with his name and says owner of toy store. He wants people to know how great he is. That's kind of another a Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm bit where it's you donate and they put you down as anonymous, but you need people to know that you donated. So Larry's going around being like, I did this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great scene. If I met Mr. Duncan, I'll give him a big hug.
And he'll give you a Christmas tree ornament.
Oh, I'll stick it to my pants.
Okay.
Kevin encounters Harry and Marv upon leaving the store and flees back to the hotel. Kevin just screams when Marv just grabs him. He screams, "This should have made a cop nearby the toy store." The movie could have ended right there.
I think we've learned recently, in fact, that New York cops aren't really on the game. They're letting people slip through their fingers.
You're right. Let's move on. The employees at the hotel confronts Kevin about his use of Peter's credit card, now reported as stolen. And Tim Curry gave us the famous, most important line of the whole movie: "Stolen credit card."
It's amazing how early this sort of kicks off all of this stuff. There's so much movie left out. After all the hotel stuff happens, it's kind of crazy. It's almost like we have a mini Home Alone within Home Alone.
Honestly, yeah. We got the greatest scene of all time. Kevin packs his bag and plays the Souls movie in front of the workers. Thoughts on this scene? I think we quoted it multiple times.
It's got some great faces from multiple people, so that would be why.
Well, does Cliff deserve better than this?
No,
He's getting smooched.
he was smooching.
He's
Was
happy.
He was smooching with everybody.
I think the face Rob Schneider makes at that part where he just kind of looks at Cliff looks at Tim Curry, right? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah. That face might be the greatest thing he's ever done in his career.
There we go. Kevin flees the hotel, but is caught by Harry and Marv. Marv mentions his his and Harry's plan to rob the toy store. Kevin was recording everything they were saying in his pants or in his pockets.
Whoa.
Excuse me. Kevin escapes in an encounter by the female pass buyer that they met earlier, and the lady beats both of them up. After the police traces Peter's credit card, the family flies immediately to New York. Their motel sucks ass, someone said. Kevin's siblings and cousins should thank Kevin since they're going to New York. Is that right? I would say it's all Kevin's idea now. It's now they have a better vacation. They should thank Kevin.
Given the fact of what I was saying earlier about how none of this is actually Kevin's fault, then they should definitely be thanking Kevin. They're getting a total Christmas upgrade here.
Absolutely.
Well, but they're definitely paying for it, aren't they? We'll learn about that later.
Oh, yeah. Well, meanwhile, Kevin goes into his Uncle Rob's townhouse only to find out it is vacant and is going under renovations. In Central Park, Kevin is walking around in New York City at night. There are some ladies of the night.
That's why this is fiction. This kid, any kid, not getting out of Central Park before the sun comes up in real life.
No, I don't think they can survive this. He also sees like a scary homeless person. Some guy saying, "Watch it, kid." He goes into the cab, and I would say that cab driver smells. That the look in the guy's face, no good.
You ever see a guy like this in real life?
He's from New York, of course he has.
There was one incident. Well, it was more. It's not more scary, but it's more funny. I think my family and I were calling a cab in New York City, and the guy said, "How many people?" And we were like 6. He said no, and he drove off.
That was it for him. He didn't have to further explain himself. He made it very clear.
Yeah, no way. He just drove off. I thought it was. I think I was like 8, not visiting New York. That's what happened. But yeah, that was funny.
I love that Central Park is like this grand enchanted forest, and he stumbles into like the scary part of it. It's very Snow White with the spooky trees, or in fact, Turn Alley from Harry Potter. That's what Central Park at night is.
Dodgy place. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I guess it really is like the closest thing to America's like forbidden forest or like dark place we shouldn't go. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I can see that.
The scene that we're about to get to where he's talking to the bird lady, is that a set or is that actually in Central Park?
That should be a set.
It kind of looks. It has that enclosed feeling of a soundstage, and I mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That may have been.
It could have been both.
There. That would mean that the camera crew would have had to survive Central Park at night. So I don't know. That's a little. Oh, we can't do that. That's too scary.
That is true. As you mentioned, Kevin encounters and eventually befriends the pigeon lady, who takes him to Carnegie Hall. She explains how her life collapsed when her lover left her. And Kevin encouraged her to trust people again. Would you guys be cool with this lady?
Please chill.
Yeah, she seems cool, so why not?
Yeah. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, she's very nice. The fact that she sees a presumably homeless kid and just decides to help take care of him is, I think it's a sign of a good person for sure.
Absolutely. After considering her advice that he perform a good deed to make up all the misdeeds and recalling Mr. Duncan's intent to donate to the hospital, he decides to prevent the toy store robbery. Kevin says to himself, "You can't mess with a lot of you can mess with a lot of things, but you can't mess with kids during Christmas."
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Kevin rigs the townhouse with his homemade booby traps, catches Harry and Marv in the process of robbing the store, and breaks I think a brick to the front window and sets off the alarm. After taking their picture, Marv smiled for some reason. He lures them to the townhouse where Marv gets hit in the head with a brick 4 times in a row. And here we go. Let's start off with the traps with Marv, and then we get into Harry, and then we get into both.
Well, first I want to say, and the traps in the first one were cartoony and violent. Lighting Joe Pesci's head on fire and shooting them in the nuts with a BB gun, right?
Yeah.
But I think this one specifically, Kevin had the mindset of like, I'm going to kill him this time.
Yes.
They are going to die this time.
Absolutely. Yes. Let's get into the traps. Marv. Let's get into Marv here. He jams 3 staples in his ass, in his groin, in his nose. From a staple gun on the other side of the door.
Fun way to put that, but yeah.
Yeah.
The staple always looked incredible to me. That's sort of like it's not slow-mo, but it looks unreal, right? Like I want to know how exactly they do it. The way it exits, it's like captured at a high speed or something. It looks incredible.
Great.
They have the slow-mo guys in 1992.
I don't think they were born.
Did Gavin Free work on this? I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
This and Dread.
Marv falls through a giant hole into the basement. At the end, what a hole. He steps into a puddle of monster sap soap, slips, falls on his back, and slides into a big shelf of wooden paint cans, which falls on him, covering him in paint. Skyler, this is your favorite part here.
Is it?
He got electrically shocked by an arc welder that Kevin connects to the sink while trying to wash off the paint, making his skull visible.
I think this is a lot of people's favorite part because it's probably like the most shared clip or GIF from this whole movie.
Absolutely.
It's Joe Pesci doing the handstand on the toilet. That is incredible. Just the image of that man doing that is unreal, and I thank this movie for it.
Absolutely. At the end, Marv gets hit by a 100-pound bag of dusty cement. Now let's get to Harry. Harry tries to grab a hold of a fire escape ladder, which Kevin made it all slippery, greased up with monster sap soap, causing him to fall to the ground. Ouch.
Then he gets the green slime on his face.
Yeah, big goo. Blubber. Flubber, excuse me. He gets a bag of tools when he kicks the door open. Ouch. His head gets burned with a blowtorch again, sprayed in fire when he tries to turn on a light switch in the bathroom. Then he attempts to turn on the sink, which doesn't work. But then, as you mentioned, he puts his head in the toilet. All of a sudden, it explodes with kerosene.
That's great.
Yeah, it's full of Looney Tunes, and I think, especially considering this film, how much of a bigger thing it is, because like you gotta do Home Alone again. What do you do to improve it? The fact that they go full on cartoon is, I don't know. I think that's what really sells it. I think if they just done the same stuff again, it would have been fine. But the fact that they went completely overboard with explosions and skeletons and all that is great.
Yeah. And then he falls from a solid ladder. Now both of them. They dodge paint cans swinging on the staircase, but gets hit by a piece of sewer pipe and flung to a basement where he was hit again by the same pipe after Kevin cuts the rope.
Is that what that thing was?
Yeah.
Telling you, he's trying to kill him this time.
A sewer pipe.
I'd read that as like some kind of weird end table or something, you know?
Oh man, that was a sewer pipe.
Disgusting.
They were both crushed by a tool chest that falls down the stairs. And then they all fall down from 3 stories when Kevin ignites the rope on fire that he was climbing down on. and then covered from head to toe in varnish. So they are they should be dead by now.
All right, bro. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine that you're one of the sticky bandits. All right. Let's say you can pick whichever one you want.
I'll be sticky. What?
Okay. That's not what I.
No one's sticky.
Oh, what did you ask?
You mean Marv or Harry?
Harry or
Oh.
Marv?
I love both. I'll pick Marv.
Okay. Well, at what point this movie do you give up? This kid put you through hell like a year ago, and you went to jail. You
Yeah.
escaped jail. Go to another city. He's here somehow. Your first reaction is like, "Oh, we'll get revenge." That doesn't work.
Mm.
And then you're like, "Okay, we're going to steal this stuff from the store." And then he's in your way, and he's more violent this time. After which trap you've sprung, do you give up?
I just give up on the staple gun because I don't think I can recover from the staples from my ass. I don't think I can recover from that.
All right, bonus question, and you might need to cut this one out.
Okay.
Did it staple the cheeks together, or did it go in between?
I think it's together. I think he stapled it together.
You need to
I
make
think
a
it was
TikTok.
I think it was a perfect shot.
The staple getting him, and you need to edit the Saw music over it.
You know what? I'll do that. You know how I edit a lot of things. I'll do that.
Oh, yes, you do.
You've been working overtime recently, I've noticed.
Thank you. I'm glad you noticed. I should stop.
Yeah, but you won't.
You've got too much free time. No, I think it was a perfect shot. I think it was staple straight to hole. You know what I mean?
Bullseye.
Oh.
I think you really sealed that pucker.
Ooh,
How can you take it out?
With
You
don't.
screaming.
We only see him take the one out of his face.
Yeah. So, oh damn. So his ass was on fire with the staple gun, staples in. Okay. Let's move on here. Kevin evades them, calls the police from the payphone. He flees towards Central Park. Harry and Marv catches him after he slips on ice and prepares to shoot him. But the pigeon lady intervenes, throwing a bucket of bird seeds onto them, attracting a massive flock of pigeons, and consumes the pair. Until the police arrives
He consumes them. They're gone.
They're gone. I don't know.
It's like the villain from We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
Oh, I'm afraid of the dark too. Gone.
Absolutely. Until the police arrives to arrest them, Kevin slips away, leaving a photographic and tape-recorded evidence against Harry and Marv. And Mr. Duncan recovers the donation money and finds a note from Kevin explaining about the broken windows. It's over. The McAllisters arrive in New York, and Kate remembers Kevin's fondness for the Christmas tree, and they both met at Rockefeller Center, saying, Kevin wishes for a Christmas tree, and he had it, and Kate is there. It was a special moment for both of them.
You know what's interesting about the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center? I have been to New York City once in my life. It was during high school, and it was over Thanksgiving. And one of the things that I went to see was like, oh, let's see maybe that tree's up for Christmas.
That tree.
So I went to Rockefeller Center, and they were constructing it. It was like half built with scaffolding, and I was like, "Wow, that sucks."
I
That's
know
it. That's the
That's
story.
the story?
Wait, yeah, I had one time to see the Rockefeller tree, and I went, and it wasn't done. I was sad. What more do you want?
That's your Michael Berryman story. Okay. I don't know. At least you got to see it, like, I don't know, in the process. You got a little behind the scenes peek at a tree. That's pretty cool.
So I watched in DC, and the reflecting pool was empty. So how do you feel about that?
What do you mean it was empty? Like there's no water?
I mean, they drained it. It was empty.
They said, we've had enough reflection. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That was at the
Oh.
tail end of the Obama administration, so
Yeah.
they had to clean it out for the next president.
Mm,
He drank it.
replace it with soda. That's what he promised Erica.
well,
What kind?
Big Red.
Dr. Pepper. Big Red. All right, we'll take it.
Spawn's making Abrar thirsty. Always going for another drink.
my boss made me choke. But yeah, I only saw the Rockefeller Christmas tree passing by. But it was crowded. It's always crowded every night.
Where was it going?
Who, me?
What?
You said you
That's
saw
how
the tree
exactly how I
passing-
interpreted it too.
you
You saw the tree passing by.
passing by. Where was it going?
Oh no, I was passing by. Excuse me, I was passing by the Rockefeller tree. But I could. Yeah, I never took a picture next to it. Maybe next time. I'll do it.
Okay.
Hold on. You guys go ahead.
Did you? Oh, he's so thirsty. Did you see 30 Rock while you were there?
Yeah, I
Or
was
was
at the. No, I was at Rockefeller
Like an
Center.
episode?
Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't in the episode, but I was there. I took pictures there, but not during
Okay.
Christmas time. All right. On
You're
Christmas,
like, Tina Fey, my queen.
she's not.
No,
my
that's what Michael
queen.
Scott did.
Yeah. On Christmas morning, a truckload of free gifts arrives at the McAllister's hotel room, sent from a grateful Mr. Duncan for foiling the robbery.
And a
Buzz-
bill for the window, presumably.
Oh, yes. Became babyface at the end. Kevin makes an amends with his family and gives one of his turtle doves to the pigeon lady, cementing their friendship forever.
Very sweet.
And that's it.
That's not it.
It's not it. Because, yeah, go ahead.
Well, you skipped over a really good joke, and that's everyone sleeping on like the couch or the floor or like pull-away beds, and Fuller, who wets the bed, gets the entire bed to himself.
Yeah, he did.
That's good.
And
Damn. Ugh.
so Kevin has this sweet moment with the pigeon lady,
Yeah.
and then the dad gets the bill.
Yes, the bill. Okay, let's get into that. So, one of my interesting facts, or let me make it to a trivia question.
Oh,
So the Kevin's service bill was $967 in 1992. But what is that equivalent to days in
I don't know.
in 2022
Bankruptcy?
at least.
Bankruptcy. I don't know.
Well, any guesses? Anyone?
Daniel has to guess because Skyler and I already did the guessing at the beginning.
True.
That's true.
Daniel.
Damn.
How much is almost $1,000 in the 90s in modern day
$167
money?
in 1992. Equivalent to in what in
Well,
2022?
Is what year?
In 2022.
In what currency?
USD.
Dollar.
Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't Bitcoin.
Oh.
You know, that's the new currency.
Too much coin.
It was too-
Oh.
McAllister coin. I'm gonna
Pigeon
say 1,500 money.
1,500.
1,500 money dollars.
You're kind of close. It is
I feel like I'm not that close.
$2,000 and $54.
Okay.
Oh.
$2,000 plus 54 more dollars.
Yep.
That was a little note. It says and $54 more.
Yeah, that's still a lot. My other interesting fact is director Chris Columbus recalled the production spent a lot of money on artificial snow for Central Park, and then New York City had a blizzard.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
It's like the sandstorm that took out the sets in Star Wars.
This is fucking miserable. Yeah, that's the great quote. I guess I should talk about Chris Columbus's cameo because we didn't talk about it earlier during the Duncan's Toy
He
Chest
was in the
scene.
movie?
So I've seen this movie a million times, I want to say. And today, watching it for this podcast was the first time I noticed that Chris Columbus has a cameo in Duncan's Toy Chest. He's like, who'll hold either his real daughter or a daughter, and they're looking at toys. And like, I chalk it up to the fact that like this is a movie I've watched since I was a kid, so I'm not watching it to like pay attention. I'm watching it to watch a holiday movie.
Yeah.
And so I saw his face and I felt so stupid. I was like, how would I never see? It's right there, right in front of the camera, and I just never saw him before. So I apologize. Chris can love this. I'm a big fan. I never saw you until now.
Like, hey, it's okay. Watch Pixels.
Oh yeah.
Never mind. I'm good. Never mind.
wait.
Oh.
Yep.
I told this to my brother, like, you know, Pixels was a bad movie, but maybe if you rewatch it now, maybe it might be good now, 10 years
Not
later.
necessary. No, we don't need to revisit everything. That's okay.
Abrar, you just told us that almost $1,000 in the 90s is now the equivalent of $2,000 in 2 years ago. That just means that Pixels gets twice as bad if you watch it now.
And
You're right.
people still don't want the minimum wage to go up. Imagine that.
Yeah, I also want to say that, like, yeah, so Kevin spent $900 something on room service, and in modern day it's $2,000, right? But I also bet spent that much now, you would have gotten less food.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, serving size and everything. Like, would that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Guess we'll never know that.
One cheeseburger is $30.
It's a lot.
God.
He ordered a whole pastry cart according to the bill that he gets.
Well, he did have that guy serving him ice cream. Is that part of the room service bill, or is that an added bill?
I think
that guy's just a pervert.
He doesn't work there.
Gratuity.
I mean, speaking of cameos, I assume you've grown through the other major cameo of former now again president.
Yes, I have.
Did anyone mention that there's a Trump hotel like 2 blocks from the Plaza Hotel? Why was he there?
The competition.
Scoping out the competition. I don't know.
Why is he staying at the Plaza? He lives down the street.
He's going to the elevator to count how many floors there are, so that he knows if his building is the tallest.
He's in the elevator counting out loud, like 1, 2, 3, and they're like, "Excuse me." He's like, "Hang on."
But all the buttons are numbered.
He can look at the thing.
He could just look at the biggest number. Can't do it.
And as he counts, he pushes every button.
I'm checking something. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. And it's like, all right, Donald, please. That's what it was. Okay, now we cracked the code.
I've got to have the tallest hotel. In the tallest seat.
I do have 2 conspiracies for this movie.
Oh,
I like that. Let's hear it.
All right. So, there are some conspiracies regarding about the bird lady. People are saying that Peter, the dad, had a relationship with the bird lady, but it didn't work out. Bird lady was talking about the relationship with Kevin back in Carnegie Hall, where it didn't work out.
What's
Why?
The connection there? Or is it just we assume because he's there? Like, what? Is there any connection here other than just like, wouldn't that be cool?
No, I don't think there is.
No, because
Is this your theory or is this like a game theory from the internet or something?
You made this up, didn't you?
I made it up, but
okay.
But I think because Kevin's dad, what's his name, John Hurd, he broke up with the bird lady back in the day, and I was thinking like that could be Kevin's real mom, not Kevin O'Hara, or not Kevin O'Hara, Catherine O'Hara.
Why?
I was like, because he broke her heart, and he's a rich guy, he's a snobby guy, and she's now a homeless lady.
Say that part. That doesn't explain anything.
You're not saying why. There's no evidence to other than there are 2 people that exist in the movie.
Did he ever even like say that he used to live in New York or something? Because like she's homeless, she didn't move.
That's just my conspiracy. Maybe she was in Chicago, now she's in New York.
You could have said that her lover that left her was the neighbor from the first movie. You could have said it was Marv. You could have said it was the uncle that's renovating his house. You could have said anything. You could have said it was Donald Trump.
Could have been. Honestly, the option is there.
Well, that was my conspiracy, but
No, hold on. Yeah, you said there were 2. I need to know.
Another conspiracy.
Ravings of a madman.
The other conspiracy was that Piers Morgan played the bird lady, But knowing the casting now, that is not true.
What?
What the fuck are you
Alright.
talking about?
The fuck
All
did you
right,
you
it's
look
like an
at the bird
online
lady-
meme.
Yeah. If you look at the bird
Yeah.
lady's face and Pierce Morgan's face, they look alike.
Yeah, it's an online thing. So Abrar took a crazy ass idea, the first one, and then just copy pasted a Reddit joke on in the second one, and that's what Abrar brought to the plate.
Should have done that in reverse order.
That's okay. But you guys think that was him as a lady?
That was him as the bird. He was one of the birds.
Oh, he's a
Don't
bird.
answer him. Don't answer him. Just let him end the episode.
Okay. Well, this was Home Alone to Lost in New York. Next time you hear us, of course, we have a lineup. Next time you hear us, we'll be talking about Santa Claus 2. But before we do that, Daniel, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky at Daniel J. McGee, or at my personal YouTube channel, Daniel McGee.
Fantastic. And Anthony, what about you, man?
You can find me at Anthony Lantern on pretty much all social media platforms. I also have a YouTube channel, Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. I also have a podcast called The Grud. You can check that out. And then in sometime in the near future, maybe next year, I don't know when these episodes come out, I'll also be back on the Always Hold On to Smallville podcast. So check that out as well.
Fantastic. And Skyler, how about you?
I like Smallville. Yeah, you can find me Skyler 8-Bit on Blue Sky website, or just follow Daniel. You'll find me through him. It's fine.
Fantastic. Of course, follow these guys. They know what they're doing. And you can follow this podcast. Of course, you're listening on Spotify. Listen on Apple Podcasts. I'm on TikTok. TikTok might be gone. So you might not be there. But you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Blue Sky at Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. And for that, guys, I have a new slogan saying at each episode, I'll say, the vibe is always on.
What?
Goodbye.